Ian continues to gain strength as it heads towards Florida's west coast. People are preparing. You can see they're stocking up those sandbags, stocking up on food, water, and gas. And for days now, storm surge, rain, the water has been some of the biggest concerns from Tampa Bay down to Fort Myers. So joining me now is coastal oceanographer and storm surge expert out of UNC, Dr. Rick Ludick. Dr. Ludick, thank you so much for joining us. I know you must be very busy.
My pleasure.
So let's chat about this. We've got Ian coming through, and we tend to focus so much on category of the storm, and you and I know that's just accounting for wind speed. Talk about the water impacts out of this and what makes that Tampa Bay area so vulnerable to some of that.
Well, we definitely think about the winds when we think about hurricanes and the categories, but when you look at it and you look at the past storms, the water does three things. It causes the most damage, it kills the most people, and it's the hardest to recover from. So it really is something that we need to focus on. If you're close to the coast, you can get water from the ocean, and you can also get it from precipitation. If you're further inland, then it's precipitation, but in both cases, the water really is the most significant problems typically associated with these storms.
And with that significance, it also is some of the parts of the hurricane that are being impacted the most by climate change. So talk a little bit about that, about how these hurricanes from today are not quite some of the hurricanes that we've seen in years past.
Well, two things really. The hurricanes themselves are changing. Climate change is causing hurricanes for sure to be wetter, so they have more precipitation associated with them. Again, the inland areas oftentimes feel that, but we can also have storms that drop a lot of water in the immediate coastal areas. But that's definitely happening. We also know that the storms seem to be strengthening as a result of climate change. So that factors in really into the storm surge associated with them, because the storm surge is driven by the winds in the storm. So both of those are affecting the water, and then thirdly, sea level is rising as a result of climate change. So what the starting point for the water is rising, and particularly in flat coastal areas like Florida and much of the Gulf Coast and South Atlantic coast, it doesn't take much additional rise in sea level to cause a substantial increase in the area that gets flooded.
Yeah, something that we'll really have to watch out for. Some of those areas in Florida looking for up to 12 feet in some spots of surge, plus on top of that up to 20 inches of rain in spots. So something that we'll watch closely. Dr. Rick Ludick, thank you so much for joining us. Again, he is a storm surge expert, coastal oceanographer out of the program at UNC. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.